Start. Right, so we are constructing angle of 75 degrees. So the first thing that I have to do is to draw my line. So I'm drawing my line. Then when you are done, angle 75 degrees is angle 60 degrees plus angle 15 degrees. Or we can construct angle 150 degrees and then bisect the angle 150 degrees to get 75 degrees. So I'm going to do the first one, which is drawing angle 150 degrees and then bisecting that angle. So I can locate a point on my line like this. So I'm going to use this point. Then you use a convenient radius. I want to draw a semicircle, but I'll make sure that my arc cuts the line that I first drew. We have learned that when you draw any circle and you stand on the circumference and use an arc to cut the first arc that you drew, you have drawn an angle of what? 60 degrees. Good. So this is an angle of 60 degrees. To be able to draw an angle of 30 degrees, I need 60 degrees, and then I'll bisect that 60 degrees. So I've drawn an angle of 60 degrees. So even if you like, you won't even draw an angle, a line to pass through this point. You can just stand here and you draw an arc. And then you stand here as well, then you draw an arc. That is also a way of bisecting the 60 degrees to get an angle of 30 degrees. So I'm going to do that. So I'll stand here. I've drawn an arc. Then I'll use the same radius to stand at the point here. And then I draw another arc. So this, if I draw a line from this point here to pass through this point, I have drawn an angle of 30 degrees. So let me draw my line. Alright, so let's measure that angle and see what we get. So you see, you have a margin of error there, but it's approximately 30 degrees. You see it? Yes. So now, since here is 30 degrees, when I bisect, since here is 30 degrees, it means that this angle here is what? 150 degrees. Because 30 plus 150 is what? 180. So if I bisect this particular angle here, I'll get what? 75 degrees. You get it? So let's bisect this angle here. I'm bisecting this angle here. So you see, this angle here is 150. So once I've drawn the arcs here to meet, it means I'm bisecting the angle 150 degrees. So it means that the angle here is 75, the angle here is also 75, and this one is 30. Let's measure our angle and see what we get. You can see it. We have our margin of error is still there, but it's approximately what? 75 degrees. So always, this is 74. Do you get it? That means we have an angle, a margin of error. Yes. So this is almost 75 degrees. You can leave it like that, and then you write 75 degrees here. Labeling in construction is very important. If you get 75 here, you have to write here 75. You see, I wrote here 30 degrees. Do you get it? But I wanted to construct what? Angle 75. Okay, 30 degrees. Are you okay? Are you okay? Yes. So that is the first method. Another way to also draw angle 75 degrees. Another way to also draw angle 75 degrees is this. We can draw an angle of 60 degrees and we draw an angle of 90 degrees. Then we bisect that 30 degrees from that 60 degrees to 90 degrees, which is 15. Then we add it to the 60 to get 75. So this is what I mean by that. We first draw our line. Now, I can just take a particular radius. Let's say I'm standing here. I can draw an arc here and an arc down here. Okay, so I'm using this point.
So your arc is light.
My arc is light. Don't worry. Then I can stand here. Do you see it? Do you see it? Now, if I draw a line through the 2 points here, this point here, and this point here, it will make an angle of 90 degrees to this particular line. Up here, okay. So let's measure this particular line and see. So this is an angle of what? 90 degrees. Have you seen it? Yes. Now, I can stand here using a convenient radius. I can stand at this point of intersection. Then I draw an arc like this. Are you okay? If I use the same radius to cut this first arc that I have drawn, it means this here is an angle of what? 60 degrees. My compass has a problem. So let me stand here again. I told you when you make mistakes are part of mathematics, okay? When you make mistakes, don't be worried. You can still go back and do it better. So I use the same radius. Then I cut this line. I hope you're okay. So this will be an angle of 60 degrees. Let's use our dotted line here. So let's measure this angle. You see that we have an angle of 60 degrees. Have you seen it? You see we have an angle of 60 degrees. Now, if here is 60 degrees, it means this angle here is what? 30 degrees. So when I bisect this angle, I'll get 15 at one side and 15 at another side. So let's bisect it. How do I bisect an angle? Where will I stand? Good. So I'm going to stand here at this point. Then I draw an arc at the top here. I come and stand here also. Make sure you don't change the radius. So you see they are intersecting at this point. So it means that if I draw a line through this, it means that from this line here to this side, that gives me my what? 75 degrees. Do you see? So this is your 75 degrees from this side here to this line. That is your angle 75 degrees, which is 60 plus the 15 here. Okay, okay. All right.